What is up, folks, and welcome to the BJT Show, where I talk about sports, media, entertainment, and such things. I'm your host, Byron. And in this episode, I have a very special guest. He is a former NBA player, and he is a current analyst for CBS Sports covering college basketball, Shelvin Mack. Shelvin, thank you for being here.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you having me, man.
Yes, sir. So, getting into high school basketball, your senior year, you averaged 23.7 points, 7.7 rebounds, and 7.5 assists, and was all city. What was it like playing high school basketball at Bryant Station High School in Kentucky?
Oh, man, it was great. Some of the best times of my life. Being from Lexington, Kentucky, it's Big Blue Nation, it's a basketball state. That's home. That's where I grew up. That city means a lot to me. Parks and Rec, and seeing all my hard work pay off. Throughout those years, teammates, staff, everybody. Like, still got a group text to this day. I stay in touch with them, but they really helped me develop the love for the game and also my competitive edge just playing with those guys at Bryant Station.
Now, you played college basketball at Butler. What made you decide to go to Butler?
I felt like it was a perfect fit for me. I want an opportunity to come in and play right away. I had some other schools, other opportunities. Kind of knew what my game was like at that time. And if I went to a bigger school, I might be sitting the bench for a little bit. Coach Stevens believed in me. Gave me an opportunity right away from day one. I know I had to put the work in. And Butler, it's all about the toughness, togetherness, and it was a very special unit being there. And that's literally like my family, like a real strong brotherhood.
As soon as you got to Butler, you made an impact immediately, starting over 30 games as a freshman. What was that like coming in and being a starter right away?
It was a great challenge. We had a lot of guys that could have started at any given night. Coach Stevens just believed in me, the talent. I put the work in, but also all my teammates embraced it. We had an older class ahead of us, Zach Hahn and Sean Van Zant. With both me and Ron coming in starting as freshmen. They kept encouraging us because a lot of times you can have teammates that might hate on you that they think that's their opportunity, but they always kept putting that battery in our back, and we continue to grow. And I think that's why we had the success we had. Like, it was no jealousy, and this can continue to work. But starting a D1 program straight out of high school is kind of tough. But it lets you know all the hard work that I put in, and it paid off.
Absolutely. And you mentioned some of your teammates. While you were at Butler, you played with some great players like former Boston Celtics forward Gordon Hayward and NBA assistant coach Ronald Norred. What was it like having them on the team and also going to the 2010 NCAA championship against Duke?
It was unbelievable. Gordon, I actually got to play with him in NBA as well with the Utah Jazz. So we have a strong relationship. Then, Ron, living here in Atlanta, one of my close friends. We was in each other's wedding. College roommate. It's great to see his progression. When he's doing on the coaching side, he's putting a lot of work in with the Hawks. But for all of us to come together was really something special. So it was 5 of us coming in as freshmen. Me, Gordon, Ron, Garrett Butcher, Chase DeGaulle, and Emerson Camping. And to this day, we still close. So we had like a strong foundation. A lot of times you go places, it might be 1 or 2 freshmen coming in. They don't really have a lot, but we had 5. So we connected, bonded right away, especially like in open gym, when you playing. Actually, we had 6. When you playing open gym, like, we got all 5 freshmen on one team. So we go play against everybody else. We just had that swag, that moxie coming in. And obviously, just having that confidence when we got to play actual college games, we start believing ourselves. The team started believing us, and we was able to go like on a deep run, showcase our.
Speaking of showcasing that talent, like I was saying before, you went to the 2010 NCAA championship against Duke, and I think I saw a post about you when March Madness was going on. I want to say either earlier this year or maybe last year, but it was basically saying Shelvin Mack comes alive during March Madness. So, what was it like making such a nice run like that?
Big time players make big time plays when it matter. It's kind of like my motto. I thrive for having those kind of games when everyone's watching and paying attention. Playing at Butler, we was in a Horizon League at that time. Every night wasn't the greatest competition, so it's kind of hard to stay up and get up for those games. But as a kid, like I said, coming from Lexington, Kentucky, seeing UK win national championships with Rick Pitino was there, Tony Delk, Ron Mercer. Like, I wanted to have that opportunity, and once I got the opportunity, I wanted to make the best of it. And that's kind of what I did when I got to the NCAA tournament.
How did it feel to be drafted by the Washington Wizards in the 2011 NBA draft?
Hearing my name on draft night, that's a dream come true. Every kid thinks about that. A very special moment. Even though I went in the second round, like it's still like the ultimate dream is just to get to the NBA, especially coming from Lexington, Bryant Station. You go to a small school, mid-major at Butler, no one believes in you, don't think you're that good, and it's having that opportunity. I love the Wizards for giving me my first shot. I'm always grateful for that, and it was just the beginning of a new challenge.
Speaking of the whole process and getting to the NBA, what was your pre-draft process like talking to scouts, general managers, teams, and things like that?
It was very different. I actually got drafted in a lockout year. So I got drafted in June and then went to the lockout like 7 days later. So once I got drafted, I was on campus a lot at Butler, still working, continued to try to get my degree and playing with my teammates, fellow friends, all of that stuff. Pre-draft, I did some workouts in Chicago. I was with Tim Grover. I did all my pre-draft there. I actually worked out for about 17 teams. I was kind of all over the board. Some people believed in me, some people didn't. I think we had a lucky run both times. We got hot the second year. The first year we was really good. So it was all over the board. You just kind of didn't know where you was going to go. And the best thing I tell people all the time about the NBA and NFL, whenever you go in professional sports, it's not where you get drafted. It's like the situation. And that was kind of like the best situation for me going in right away my rookie year being the backup point guard. Ernie Granford, Tommy Shepard, believed in me, and I know I try to take full advantage of it. But the worst thing is like getting drafted and not actually playing basketball until December.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense for sure. And you talk about it's not just about where you get drafted, but more so the situation that you're going to. You see it in the NFL all the time. You see it in the NBA. You could be drafted high, but you might get to a situation where things are not good for at least the first few years of your career, where you see other players get drafted later and everything just clicks right away.
Yeah, it's always about fit. Fit matters most for anything else.
You played for the Atlanta Hawks from 2013 to 2016 and had a great tenure there. How did it feel to play for such a cool franchise?
Playing in Atlanta was probably one of the best stretches of my career. I'm still close to everyone on that team, coaching staff, players. Got a lot of friends here. The city just shows so much love, and they love basketball. Beforehand, they had a lot of good teams that couldn't kind of get over the hump. We had with Joe and Josh Smith, Marvin Williams, all that. But then for us to come in with Paul, Damari, Bays, Jeff, me, Mike Scott, Cal Corver, to win 20 games in 1 month is unreal. And it's also the same time with the culture of Atlanta was starting to show off. You got 2 Chainz, Future, Migos, everybody starting to pop it at the same time. So it was a lot of love, a lot of fun. To this day, like I said, I have a lot of relationship with everybody. Like Quinn Snyder, the head coach for the Hawks right now, was on that coaching staff. Taylor Jenkins, Kenny Atkinson, head coach for the Cavs. Jordan Ott, head coach for the Phoenix Suns. Charles Lee, head coach for the Charlotte Hornets. It's like these relationships that you get, and everyone's growing and going through that process is just unbelievable.
And how did it feel to be embraced by such a city like Atlanta? And Atlanta loves their teams. And whether the teams are doing good or bad, Atlanta is always going to show love to their pro sports teams.
Yeah, the culture was just fun. Like we played unselfish basketball. The ball was just moving, popping. Kind of had the swag as well. Then like all the stars is just starting to pop up and show out. You got Jeezy performing at a game. You got the Migos, Quavo. They starting to pop in the music business. 2 Chainz had his run, and all of these guys were super invested into our team. It made us feel love, and also put on Atlanta. The Hawks is a very cool city. Like anyone has the opportunity to come down here and visit and see the culture, whether it's the lifestyle was outside, just the vibes are just unbelievable.
Yeah, I bet for sure. Atlanta can be a really cool place, definitely. And speaking of the Atlanta Hawks, you were a part of that team that went 60 and 22, and they went to the playoffs in 2015, but lost to a LeBron-led Cavaliers team. What type of mindset do you have to have going into a game like that, going against LeBron and the Cavaliers?
Come out and just compete. Bron's one of the greatest players all time. He has a very unique skill set. Whoever he plays with, he can make them perform 10 times better. I liked our chances. Just unfortunately, that series we got hit with some injury bugs to kind of derail what we wanted to do. But I wouldn't change for the world. Like the opportunity we had to get there and play against them. Eastern Conference Finals is the farthest I've ever been in the NBA. and I enjoyed every moment of it.
And speaking of playing against players like LeBron and other people, did you ever have a culture shock when you got to the NBA? Like getting to the NBA and seeing all these great players? Was it like, wow? Did you ever have like a wow moment or a welcome to the NBA moment?
I wouldn't say a welcome to the NBA moment, because also like when I was in college, I played for the USA team, select team, so I got to play against all the like the Olympic teams. So I got to see everybody before I got there. One player like everyone always forget about is Chicago Bulls D Rose. Problem. He was one of those like when they tell you fast don't lie, and him playing for the Bulls everywhere he goes. Everything you do, you just hear the crowd, this all of that the whole time. And, you're on an island out there by yourself. It could be tough.
Yeah, definitely. And I think playing against a player like D Rose is just an athletic freak. Like there's not really a whole lot you can do, especially in his prime.
Yeah, him and also Westbrook. When he's just going full speed at you, there's nothing you can do. Like the OKC days of Westbrook was a nightmare to guard. When he was getting 57, 18, and 16, like he's just a beast.
Yeah. And the thing I like about Russell Westbrook is he gives a lot of effort every single night. He's always on 10 every single game, every night, whether things are going good or bad. And I got to respect that.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite players to watch. I'm glad he just got picked up. Hopefully, he has a good season, can play injury free, and kind of impact that team.
Who is someone that's a trash talker in the NBA?
Trash talker.
Like somebody that you played against who talks a lot of trash and that's always just in your ear, just constant.
It's not a lot of people who talk trash unless you say something to them. It's not somebody just coming out there and like just talking just to be talking. Usually somebody does something to them. Or like a lot of times in a game, somebody might shoot by the bench or someone yell at them. Then you can kind of get it going. But like teammate wise, I say Jeff Teague's probably a really big trash talker. Playing with him for multiple years, every day in practice, we just talking trash to each other. Whether it's a shooting drill, I turn the ball over in a game, he turned the ball over in a game. Our matchup got the best of us, y'all. You're gonna hear about it once we get on this plane in this bus.
Is Jeff Teague is he as funny as they say?
Yeah, it's very, very funny. You got to get to know him. Once you get to know him, you get a little bit more. He's doing good things with his podcast, sharing a little bit of light of what goes on to his life. But that's him all day.
Who's the best player that you ever played against in the NBA?
The best player I played against, say like LeBron, KD, or Kobe. They kind of all up there. They all different, unique in their own way. I think KD is one of the best scorers all time. Just he can get a bucket at any level against anyone. Kobe got that killer instinct. I was fortunate enough to play against him in his last game in the NBA when he had the 62. I was part of that. You can watch the clips. I got 0. I didn't get any of those points. But it's having that mindset just to go out there and get 50 shots up. That's a hard thing to do. A lot of people don't understand that. Like he shot 50 times, the shape, the commitment he was in to go out with a bang. And then you got LeBron, can do whatever the team needs, get it done night in, night out, whether it's him passing, scoring, or defending.
I want to talk about each player here, and let's start with LeBron. From a technical standpoint, what do you have to do to sort of at least give yourself the best chance of getting the best of LeBron when you're playing against him?
I think you try to just give him different bodies. It's not too much you can do. A lot of people don't understand his size, 6'10", point guard. So, he's bigger than a lot of guards and faster than a lot of bigs. So he kind of usually has the upper hand. But then also his basketball IQ. He understands where players should be at, how to do it, how to manipulate the defense. Watching scouting, watching videos, seeing the scouting report. If I drive to the middle, I know the bottom dude's going to help. I got that corner 3. But instead of having a non-shooter in that corner, he's going to have one of his best shooters there. So you can't help. You got to make a decision. But then also having that trust factor to whether they pass the ball to that guy every single time, whether he makes it or misses. It's just the right basketball play. And that's kind of hard to teach, and he just has that natural.
And you also talk about Kevin Durant, and Kevin Durant is actually my favorite current NBA player. When you play against somebody like Kevin Durant, especially from a defensive end, what can you do? Because he's like 6'10", 6'11", or whatever it is, and he can shoot from anywhere. And he also has a point guard like handle. KD always does that, tween the legs, kind of rock back and forth, and just raise up and hit a mid range. Like, how do you stop it?
The best thing he can do is try to deny him the ball. If he don't get the ball, he can't score. But it's just overall just a tough coverage, and it's very hard to deny him the ball with his his size and his frame. He can throw his arm up and just throw the ball there. No one can get there and contest and jump. But once you get it, with his size, you try to kind of get underneath from me being a smaller guy. If he puts the ball on the floor, try to be right there. But knowing him and his skill set, he don't need to put the ball on the floor. He's got to catch the ball in this spot. He could jab and just shoot right over you. But the way he's able to just do it so effortless is just something you just don't see with somebody with his size every single night. And it's a 30 ball.
Even with Kevin Durant tearing his Achilles and then coming back, and speaking of him tearing his Achilles, he tore his Achilles on my 20th birthday. So he'll never forget that day ever, because that's the day he tore his Achilles. So if I ever meet him, I definitely want to tell him that. But yeah, even seeing KD post Achilles, he's still KD. Maybe not as athletic, but his technique is still there.
Yeah, he's super efficient. One thing doesn't go away is shooting a basketball. Your athleticism might decline, but when you're 60, you can go out there and play out and knock down them jumpers. It's just one thing that it just shows you the 10,000 hours that he put in, all those reps, doesn't go away. And he's a pure scorer, one of the best we ever seen.
And you also talked about playing against Kobe Bryant. And when you played against Kobe, what was sort of your mentality going into that game? Because Kobe was going to go after you on both ends of the floor, offense and defense. Is just on go the entire time. And then from an offensive standpoint, his footwork was always there. Defensive standpoint, his tenacity was always there. So describe what was it like playing against Kobe.
Better bring the hard hat. He's gonna let you know. He's gonna talk smack, but he's gonna be talking smack in a southern way. It's like talk to everyone else. He'll talk to us like, man, he can't guard me, instead of telling you that. Like, throw me the ball, he can't guard me. He'll do some stuff like that. No, just unbelievable with his footwork. A master at his craft. Understand angles. Understand how to play them in his later years. His athleticism kind of decline. I could bump you to create this space and get this shot off. Just understand whenever I'm out here, I'm playing hard. Every possession, whether it's 10 minutes left in the game or 30 seconds and we up 10. I'm still not going to let you just get the ball up this easy. Like, I'm going to bring it and you're going to feel me and you're going to know about it as well. Kobe's one of my favorite players. That's why I wore 8. Him and Darren Williams. Just like their mindset. Always look at themselves as the underdog and want to prove something right. Even though when he's at the highest of his career, is always why he can't do this. He don't make his teammates better. He can't do it without Shaq. He just always finding different ways and edges to prove people wrong.
What's something about the NBA that most people outside of the NBA don't know?
That's a great question. So it's a lot of long nights. I don't think people understand that. You travel a lot and getting into hotels late at night. It's kind of hard to go to sleep. So say I'm with Atlanta and we playing in Houston, then we got to go to Chicago. So the game might be over with at 10 or something. You land in Chicago about 1, 2 in the morning, and your body is just up. And you might be up to 5 or 6 in the morning, have a shoot around, trying to catch up on them sleep. And I don't think people understand how hard and difficult it is. And the great ones like master and able to take care of their bodies and play for a long time. And then also how like good everyone is in the NBA. I tell people all the time, like everyone in the NBA averaged 20 at some point in their career. Like, you got to understand, he's just because he's on the bench and he's coming in late. Probably averaged 25 in college. It's just the situation dynamic is different. And one of my coaches, Sam Cassell, always say, hey, they get paid too. So everybody out there is getting paid and they pretty good at what they do.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. You talk about just because somebody's coming off the bench, that doesn't mean they're not good, because everybody in the NBA is good. How far of the skill gap do you think is between an NBA player and a really good college basketball player, but also just your average Joe on the street who hoops?
It's a big difference. I would say that. Obviously you have some unique guys who have the opportunity to play in the NBA, and there's some other stuff that might kind of went wrong. But like, to be in the NBA, you got to have the competitiveness, the skill set, and then also like the athletic ability. People don't understand, like, everyone's super athletic. The people you think is like not athletic is more athletic than like the average Joe. Played with Joe Ingles. People get on Joe Ingles all the time just because like the pace and stuff he played. Like, he looked like somebody who just plays at the Wild, but he's super athletic, long arms, can cover ground, and probably one of the best defenders that you party will ever play against. If people don't understand that with his physicality, being able to chest and stand in front of somebody. Then also the amount of practice that like an NBA player puts in. Uh, people talk about 10,000 hours. I think most NBA players probably put in about 30,000 hours just from sitting at home after school playing. You just add all of this stuff up over like someone's lifetime. It's way more than 10,000 hours. You might got 10,000 hours in AAU alone. Just the amount of work and time that someone puts in. People don't understand that.
A lot of people, especially on social media, talk about the lifestyle of an NBA player and sort of, every time they go out, they get swarmed by a bunch of people and people are always asking for pictures and they're always on the road and people are always coming up to them and all this stuff and partying and all that. How true is that? Is that really true or is that accurate or is that just something that people say for a few players?
This happens for like a few players. Obviously you got your fans, people who love and appreciate your game, but majority of the time you can kind of go wherever you need to go. Someone's gonna say hello. Obviously your superstars, LeBrons and KDs and stuff like that might be a little different. But all the all stars and stuff I play with, they can go out, have a good time, get something to eat at a restaurant. Everyone's gonna say hello, all that, but it's not like they can't walk through the restaurant and people just in their way just stop.
Do you ever recall or do you recall any times where somebody stopped you in public and was like, hey, can I get a picture or autograph or anything like that?
Yes, actually I get it a lot of time during college basketball season. Like a lot of people remember me more from college basketball, just having those deep runs. But it takes it takes a very special fan to kind of see my face and recognize me like that. Like you're really deep into the game, and I always stop, have a conversation. I love.
And speaking about the Atlanta Hawks again, what do you think the state of the Atlanta Hawks is currently? Like, how well do you think Trae Young is playing? Like, what are your expectations and sort of predictions for them coming into the season?
They have a great team right now. You got Trey, Dyson Daniels, Zachariah Ricochet. The big thing is having Jalen Johnson back. He's somebody who can do everything. He can play point forward, be one of the team's best defender, can also score on the other end. Then you got Porzingis having a stretch five. Then something kind of completely different than what Trey's ever played with. Usually have the rim big for the pick and roll for the lob. But having a guy who can pop out and knock down that is going to give him more opportunity and space. And then I played for Coach Quinn. I know defensively Coach Quinn going to have these guys locked in. I think they have a good chance to make a deep playoff run, especially with the East kind of being down a little bit this year because of injuries. But you still got a lot of good teams. There's the Hawks can stay healthy, and once they get there to the end, I think they have the ability to to get over the hump when you have a Trae Young and a KP on your team.
Yeah, I think that roster is really good right now for sure. And like you were saying, I think they do have a good chance to make a good playoff run, especially with injuries to teams like the Pacers and teams like Celtics with Jason being out for a while and things going on over there. So, in your estimate, if the Hawks were to win a championship or if they're going to make a deep playoff run, would this year be the year? Like, now is your opportunity.
I would say that, but the way the game's changed, like it could be any year. As long as you just stay the course, like don't take the year off thinking it's over with. Especially when you have the opportunity to be in the playoffs with a play-in game. Win the next game, you get some momentum going. And like I said, everybody's NBA players. Everyone's pretty good. You just never know what could happen. And also, every game you one injury away from like the series being over because it's all about matchups. I thought last year if Aaron Gordon didn't get hurt, I think the Nuggets would have beat the Thunder, and that whole situation could have shifted and changed. You just don't know. And the Pacers showed you that. Just come out, compete, play hard every single night, and things tend to work out for you when you playing basketball the right way. The basketball guys, try to take care of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Being in the NBA, of course, everybody's athletic, everybody's good. But would you have played another sport? Like, would you have played like a football or a soccer or anything else other than basketball?
Yeah, I'm a big time football guy. I think I would have been a strong safety somewhere in the SEC playing, and hopefully got to the NFL. But I'm all tapped into football, especially living down here.
Who's your favorite football player growing up?
My favorite football player growing up, I used to like Chad Ochocinco and Terrell Owens, especially when they played for the Bengals. Being in Lexington, we didn't really have an NFL team. They was the closest team, so I got to watch them play a lot. T.O. is one of my favorites.
Yeah, Chad was one of my favorites growing up, especially because he's really funny. So I like the way he always talks trash, but not like Nothing malice, but more so funny.
Yeah, yeah.
And I just like watching him play.
And the same thing you're doing right now with this podcast. Now you're funny, you know, crack the jokes, make you think about it for a little bit. Like I love it.
Yeah, and even as a player, Ocho, his footwork was just amazing.
Yeah,
Some of the best feet I've ever seen from a receiver. And speaking of football, actually, a lot of people don't know this either, but you and I were actually flag football teammates at one point in time. So what the people watching don't know, me and Shelvin, we used to go at it in practice sometimes, not like go at it talking trash, but it was just more so like, one on ones, I'll guard him,
yeah,
he guards me and all that. And I'm like, hey, this is difficult.
yeah. Very, very competitive nature. You know, you running on run routes really well. I think that's why I kind of had to shut it down going against you in practice. Then playing, I pulled my groin. I realized it's time for me to shut it down. The football ain't for me.
Oh man, I get that though. I get that. Flag football is fun, and I always try because I'm not the biggest person out there, so I got a little speed. So I always try to make sure the routes are crisp. I'm always watching film on different receivers and trying to take from their game and put it into mine.
Yes, sir.
Transitioning from with you playing in the NBA and everything like that, you also work for CBS as a college basketball analyst. And what has that been like for you being in the broadcast space?
It's been great. It was a good transition for me. I was with CBS for 3 years doing studio. Last year and this year, I'll be working with Fox, kind of doing calling games, trying something out, something different. I think with my basketball background pedigree, I think it serves a better purpose for me. Having 2 hours to get out there and explain what's happening on this pick and roll, what happened with this pin down, why he was able to turn the corner. So I'm very excited about that opportunity that's coming up this year.
Is that an announcement that you're working for Fox? Is that public yet, or is that not public?
Yes, it's public. I did a call a few games last year. Expecting to call some more this year, but it's completely different than the studio. A lot of people don't understand is it's different when you're in front of the camera. You're actually talking to the world. Bringing that energy when you're talking to a camera is kind of different with that transition. But I was very fortunate enough that CBS gave me that opportunity to make my transition from playing into post basketball career.
What's your preparation like as a broadcaster?
Same thing as watching as a player. You got to put the reps, watch film, especially when you call in the games. You got to know. You can tell. Sometimes you can't always see players' numbers. You can see the way they walk, the way they move on the court. You kind of know who it is. You got to do a lot of film study, especially in college. It's more difficult than like an NBA. NBA, I kind of know everyone's game, players what they do, but in college, you'll find some teams and some players that they'll surprise you with their athletic ability, and it's a lot more different styles of play in college as well.
I want to talk about NBA contracts and stuff like that too, because people see a player getting, I don't know, let's say $50 million in an NBA contract. How much of that does a player actually keep? Because they always say, it's not about how much money you make, but it's about how much you keep. And just because you see a big number, that doesn't always mean that they get that number, especially with the NFL, because their contracts usually aren't fully guaranteed.
Yeah, in NBA, I would say depending on where you at, no state tax. They actually got a graphic you could probably pull up with like Steph Curry. I think he was making 37 million a year. I think he brought home like between 11 and 13 out of that, and that's before his bills. So I don't know what he actually brought home after that. One thing a lot of people don't understand with contract in the NBA, it's a thing called escrow. So every year the NBA takes 10% of your contract and have it and holds it in account. In case the NBA doesn't make their money back, they'll keep it. So that's a big factor that a lot of people don't understand. And you also have taxes. So if you're making 40, government's already taking 20. So now you at 20. Depending on where you at, you're in LA, California, you go to state taxes. If you're in Florida, Tennessee, and Texas, and I think I might be missing another one. Like there's no state tax. So you're able to capitalize more on your money. I think that's what one of the big factors where Miami Heat had the big three with like LeBron, D Wade, and Chris Bosh. There's no state taxes. So kind of do the math, they're really not taking a pay cut. Everyone's still able to kind of get their money, but kind of different when you're playing in bigger markets.
Yeah. You see that in the NFL a lot too. Just because a player may sign for 50 mil guaranteed doesn't mean they're taking 50 mil home. And people usually say, well, whatever the number is, just go ahead and slice it in half. And then when you take into account taxes and everything, it's like if you play for the Falcons, you get taxed for whenever you have a home game based on Georgia's tax. And then whenever you go play against the Buccaneers or Chargers or whoever it is, you get taxed based off of where you play at for that week.
Yeah, same thing in the NBA. Depending on what city you got, you get taxed in.
What's something about you that the people generally don't know about you?
Hey, I'm a big video gamer. I play video games all day. Play Mad in college football. I'm about top 500 in the world, I would say. I'm pretty good. Anybody ever want to play? Catch me online. My PS5 gamer tag is Shelvin Mack 1990. I take on all challenges. I'm pretty good at it.
Do you like playing 2K?
I don't play 2K as much anymore. Can't get used to the shot meter and all of that. And I was playing some of my friends. I was getting smacked. I'm like, this ain't it. This ain't fun.
Did you ever play as yourself on 2K?
Of course, I always did my mod player. In the season, I can't be the starting point guard and shoot 20 shots. On this video game, I'm going to get about 25, 30 shots up. You better believe that.
Do you think your rating in 2K was accurate throughout your career? Because some professional athletes will see their rating in like a 2K or a Madden and be like, that's not true, or I'm way faster than that, or something like that.
I would say it's pretty accurate. Now, I know a lot of people know me from video games too. You do your fantasy league, pick players in 7th, 8th round. I was always that one guy that people pick on the video game. I might hit 10 threes in one game and like just be on fire. So I would say it's pretty accurate.
Well, Shelvin, I want to say thank you very much for joining. So, folks, be sure to subscribe, like, comment, subscribe, and all those good things. Shelvin, again, appreciate you for coming on. And where can they follow you on social media?
Yes, sir. No doubt for having me on social media. I'm on Instagram, Shelvin.Mac. And on Twitter, it's the same thing. Hopefully, everyone reach out, especially with the gamer tag. We can get on there and kind of connect. Looking forward to this season. I got the NBA season starting on Wednesday. College basketball coming up right behind that. So hopefully y'all see me soon and kind of see all the hard work I've been putting in this offseason, with my broadcast work. And I want to say appreciate you for having me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And y'all follow me on Twitter and Instagram at BJT_era. Everything will be in the description box. But like I always say, hope y'all have a good one. Peace out.